In the world of racing, money reigns supreme. You could have never stepped in a race car before, but if you have the money, resources, or the right name, you can have success in motorsports. The IndyCar series has a lot of examples of this. However, these drivers have varying levels of talent and experience. Previously in this series, we've looked at drivers like Jack Miller, Sebastian Saavedra, and Buzz Calkins. Today we talk about Marty Roth, a real estate agent turned IndyCar driver. Welcome back to All IndyCar, the motorsports history show looking at the most interesting stories in American open-wheel racing. Marty Roth was born December 15, 1958 in Toronto, Canada. Marty Roth's first documented racing would be scattered starts in the American Racing Series from 1988 to 1991. 1990 would be the closest Marty Roth ever got to a full-time season. He starred 11 of the 14 races in 1990, where he'd get 7 top 10s, 3 top 5s, and a podium in Vancouver. He finished 10th in the points this season. His American Racing Series results would fail to impress, however, and after 1991, Marty Roth would leave racing and enter the world of real estate. Working in the greater Toronto area, Roth would build a significant fortune from this, and by 2002, he would return to racing in the Infinity Pro Series. Driving for Brian Stewart Racing, Marty would run 6 races where he got 4 top 10s and a 4th place finish at Chicagoland being his best finish of that year. 2003, on the other hand, would show slight regression with only 3 top 10s and a best finish of 6th at Michigan. 2004, on the other hand, would be a much different story. Entering 2004, Marty Roth had purchased Infinity Pro Series and IndyCar equipment from Panther Racing. Roth Racing was to run 3 Infinity Pro Series races and the Indy 500 in 2004, with Marty Roth making his IndyCar debut at the age of 44. This was certainly a leap of faith, and it never worked out well. Results in the Infinity Pro Series regressed severely in 2004, having only 2 top 10s and a best finish of 7th that year. Roth Racing's debut at the Indy 500 was also brutal when he hit the wall out of turn 4. 2005 would be a mixed bag. A full-time season in the Infinity Pro Series netted him his first and only podium in the series and an 8th place points finish. The Indy 500, on the other hand, would be disappointing when he retired from the race once again. 2006 would have been Marty Roth's second full-time season in the Pro Series, but he sold that equipment to focus on IndyCar. This was a bad call, as after a crash on bump day that year, Marty didn't even qualify. 2007 would be terrible as well, when another outside wall collision at Indy would be one of 3 retirements in just 4 races that Marty ran that season. In 2008, everything just began to fall apart. The team struggled for sponsorship all season long, and the results on track weren't helping them. He crashed in Homestead to start off the season, failed to start at St. Pete, crashed in Motegi, and then Kansas rolled around. Coming into the pits, it looked like Marty just fell asleep at the wheel and hit the right front tire changer for Thomas Scheckter, getting a justified slap on the head when he ran over the foot of another pit crew member. He then crashed again at Indy later that year and rounded off the rest of the season with more terrible finishes. After this year, Roth would enter retirement. Not by choice, I might add, as Marty Roth was refused his license renewal from IndyCar. Roth Racing was entered in the 2009 Indy 500 with 2 cars. It's unclear who the team selected as their drivers for this entry, but the team never showed up, and by August of the same year, the team sold all of its equipment to Fast Racing, which is now Arrow McLaren SP. Marty Roth's IndyCar career was disappointing, to put it extremely lightly. In 22 IndyCar starts, he has 0 top 5s, 0 top 10s, a best finish of 13th, and 12 DNFs. He failed to finish roughly 54% of the races he ever started, and that doesn't include the 4 times where he failed to start the race at all, and his failed attempt at the 2006 Indy 500. He is without a doubt an IndyCar bust, but there are reasons for this besides his own shortcomings as a driver. In 2008, he was competing in IndyCar at the ripe age of 49. He was 44 in his rookie IndyCar season, and he didn't have the best equipment. I said in the Jack Miller video that once drivers hit their mid to late 30s, they're in a racing old folks home. So how could you describe restarting your career for the first time in 11 years in your mid 40s? Unfortunately, he was never going to succeed in IndyCar, and as a result, he struggled. I'm sure off track, Marty Roth is a really great guy, but on track, he's only remembered as an IndyCar reject.